what?
So Smoking Gooder Show.
It is the So Smoking Gooder Show. All right. Are you ready? Yep. You can handle this? There we go. 3.
I'm First Class Barbecue Robert Smith, and you're watching the So Smoker Gooder Show.
You said it wrong, dummy. Do it again.
So Smoking Gooder Show.
One more time.
So Smoking Gooder Show.
Hello, I'm Joey Smith with Texas Chrome Barbecue. Here watching the So Smoking Gooder Show. Did I say that right?
I'm Phil Breeden, owner and founder of LC Barbecue. And you're watching the So Smoking Gooder Show.
This is Bill Purvis with Chicken Fried Barbecue, and you're watching the So Smoking Gooder Show. Boom.
Are you ready to turn up the heat? 1. Let's go! Because you've just tuned in to the one and only So Smoking Gooder Show. We're coming to you live from Bullhorn Barbecue headquarters in Cypress, Texas. This is the show where we talk all things barbecue and brews, and you better believe we're here to have a good time. Get ready for the man who knows barbecue like the back of his hand, the guy who can tell you the difference between an IPA and a stout blindfolded, and the life of every party, your barbecue pitmaster and the host with the most, Rob Arocha. Whether you're part of the Gooder Gang or just here for the special guests, barbecue competition updates, or maybe even to rate some boxes, strap in, fire up those smokers, and crack open a cold one, because the So Smoking Gooder Show starts now.
What is up, everybody? Happy Sunday, Funday. That's loud. That is loud. What's up, everybody? We're just coming to you for a random Sunday Funday. Why not? Lots going on this weekend in the barbecue world. You know, we got to talk about the last few shows. I don't think Eddie Morales will be joining us tonight. I don't even think producer Ty will be joining us tonight. This is going to be old school, So Smoking Gooder Show. But it is a Sunday fun day. I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend, a wrap up to your weekend, whatever that might have been happening for whatever it may be. We're going to have just a random Sunday. We're going to take some, whoever wants the link, you got to drink. That's what's going to happen on Sunday Fun Days when we do these things. So if you want a link, you better be drinking. And I know that I got some people lined up that are going to be hanging out with us tonight. I'm trying to make sure that now. Trying to make sure I got some people lined up for us tonight. One of them's already in the house, but if you're hanging out and you want to drink with us on Sunday Fun Day, I will send you a link. You get a link for a drink. That's the way it's going to work. And tonight we're only doing this on the YouTubes. We're trying to grow the YouTubes, man. I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. Let's give some shout outs to the Gooder Gang on YouTube tonight. There's only 20 of us watching tonight. It's a small crowd. It's a random deal. I decided to do this about an hour ago. Carlos Calzada, what is up? Sup gang on a Sunday. Yes, again, no Ty tonight. This is just me. Maybe Ty will join us here in a little bit. Nicho's Porky's Pit Crew, what is going on? Good evening. Corby Simpkins, you guys know Corby with Doodle Q. Hello, Gooder Gang. Who else we got? Brandon Perriman in the house, always forward barbecue. I am here, gang. Happy Sunday. Brandon is actually the first link guest in the comments for Sunday Fun Day. Sean Trainer, rhyming with Rob coming up. Okay, and let's do it. Sean, you want a link? Let's go. You got to have a drink, though. Burley Gunter, he's going to have a wonderful event coming up real soon. That's the Denny's Memorial Cook-Off. I think that is it November, September? It's coming up real soon, I promise you. Trumpet Master, I said only on YouTube, but this man is my man on Twitch. Trumpet Master, what is up? Thank you very much. ZZ Top Fan in the house. Evening all. All right. All Shit Ty is in the house. There it is right there. You got to drink if you want a link. That oil money, that is the man cooking it on Monday nights. Tomorrow night, you can check out Serge, Sam, Greg. Is it Greg? I'm sorry. A lot of people on that show coming up on tomorrow night. Let's see who else we got here. We got Sean Trainer, Jared McCrory checking in. Sure Shot Barbecue. Love Sure Shot Barbecue. The most consistent team. Should we say that again? Got roasted. Kind of got roasted last week. Madwood, what is up, Madwood? How are you doing? Sean Trainer in the house. Oh, here we go. Phil and Lauder probably lost in the Northwest trying to get home. Can you imagine as Kit as a navigator? I don't know. Kit can probably find his way out of a jungle looking up at the stars. Sergio Chapa, what is going on? Coyote. Cookers in the house. Who else am I missing? Peter Harrison. That is a new name. What is up? Peter Harrison. We don't normally do this on Sundays, but I'm glad you're checking us out. We do this on Wednesdays, 8 o'clock Central. Who we go? Gotcha Bad Barbecue. I like it. What's going on, Gooder Gang? That's also a new name. All right. Burley said August 23rd and 24th. Okay. I will be there. Reggie Q Barbecue. What is up, Reggie Q? That is Vincent and Joyce. For those that don't know, they got a class coming up. Congratulations on a class coming up. And Belle Clark's checking in. Hello, y'all. All right. Did I miss anybody? I don't think I did. Again, Random Sunday. If you want a link to the show, I'm inviting anyone. This is all random. I've got nothing planned. This was just a hangout. Let's hang out together. It's the end of the weekend. We got a big week coming up for everybody, I'm sure. It's a random Monday for people, but lots of things coming up in my world. So I got a big week coming up. But you guys, if you want to hang out, I will send you a link. It is open to anybody. We can have up to 10 people on this show tonight. There's only 23 of us. So if you guys want a link, like I said, grab a drink. You get a link. First in, Brandon Perriman. There's Mr. Keen. I'm sorry, I want all of Brandon's secrets. Mr. Keen's sharpening service. You guys have not used this man's sharpening service. He is traveling all around Texas. He visits all of our competitions. And I always feel that this man undercharges because I give him about 5 to 7 knives. And he's like, yeah, it's about $25. I'm like, okay. So I always give him a $10 tip because the man does really well out there. All right, let's go. Brandon Perriman's first up in the house. Again, if you want a link, I will send the link to you. Just hit me up on Messenger and I will send you the link. I know Aaron Leslie's going to be in here in just a minute. Mark Suarez will be in just a minute. So again, links, but you got to be drinking. You got to drink for a link. Brandon, what are you drinking? McDonald's. That's a McDonald's cup. Oh, and he put a little blackberry crown.
Crown Royal Blackberry, baby.
What's up, Brandon? I know you haven't been on the show yet, and this is not your debut. I mean, it is, but it's not. This doesn't count. It's just a random Sunday fun day. I will get you on, I promise you, real soon. But how you been, man? You doing good? You're doing great out there.
We're trying, man. We're trying. Doing great on a Sunday fun day.
What have you been doing all weekend? Did you cook this weekend?
I was in Galveston Friday and yesterday hanging out with some buddies down at the beach. And then came home yesterday evening. Been just hanging out today.
All right. Well, I don't want to get too in depth on Always Forward barbecue, but what do you think about the status of Texas barbecue? You kind of get in this, a year ago? If that has it even been that long?
About a year and 3 months, I guess.
Okay, a year and 3 months. What did you know about Texas barbecue before getting into the scene, and what have you learned? And talk about some of the people you've met out there. Again, we'll get more into Always Forward whenever you do come on the show later down the line.
Well, I didn't know much about, just what everybody else had, what the layperson knows, but I kind of, quickly found out about all the greats of Texas barbecue, especially competition barbecue, once I started getting knee deep into it, competing as much as I could and learning who all the great people were and who were the best every weekend that were winning all the time, and trying to figure out this crazy game that we play.
Absolutely. And who were those people that you thought when you started getting into it? Like, who are some of the names you're like, okay, that's maybe somebody I need to follow or somebody I need to be like or compete against or wherever it may be?
Well, the first person actually was Robert Smith. He the first competition I did was Taffer last year, and he gave like a free little class on, I guess it was on the Friday before, and so that was the first guy I found out about, and kind of was, following his footsteps and putting the tips that he gave us into good use, and that helped a lot. So that was definitely the first guy that I found out about.
Do you remember one tip from that class?
Yeah, it wasn't a I don't know if it was the best tip. Well, I'm sure it's a great tip, but I don't put it into play. He said to cook your chicken to like 150, 155, your half chickens. And I usually cook them a little higher than that, just because I don't want them to, get DQ'd. I have enough problems with getting DQ'd. So, yeah, that was one tip that I remember. I think it was just kind of a funny tip. He said just 150, 155, and that's it. And
where do you like to pull your half chickens?
I usually pull them about 165.
All right, so 155 versus 165. What do you think the carryover? What do you think the carryover is going to be on these birds?
I don't know. I mean, I've gotten them. I've actually turned in some pretty, I've left them on too long, or they got done too early, and they've gotten up to 170, 175, and I still freaking finish pretty high with some of these birds that get turned in. But I try not to let it get over 165. Obviously, there's going to be some carryover, 3 to 5 degrees, but it really depends. Like, I found that in IBCA, they tend to like overcooked chickens, or chickens that are done more than I would like to turn them in.
Well, yeah, because these judges that we pull off the street, they go to Spring Creek Barbecue, for example, right? They're all around the city of Houston. You're going to go in there and have some chicken. If you ever had chicken from Spring Creek Barbecue,
no, I've never had it.
But this dog is cracking me up. But if you've ever had, regardless if it's Spring Creek or if it's Rudy's or whatever it may be, right? It's going to be sitting on a board, probably for 10 to 15 minutes under a light, probably was cooked, because they are definitely going to pull it at 165. They're not going to go under. I mean, they're under a lot of regulations or whatnot. That thing's going to sit and carry over, and then it's going to under a board. Probably 185, 190 before they start slicing this thing. And that's what people are used to. People ran them off the street. Robert Smith gave you some good advice. 155. You said 3 to 5 degrees. I feel it's like at 5 to 10 degrees, it's going to carry over. So, I don't know. If we're pulling 165, you're probably 175 when it goes. And yeah, it's probably okay. But if you really want it tender or whatnot, maybe Robert Smith gave you some good advice and he told you.
If you're gonna put it in the box, put it in the box.
No, he was probably definitely right. I always err on the side of caution, and like I said, the results that I've been getting, which have been pretty good here recently.
They have been. No, you can't argue with results, right?
Yeah, and like I said, I start saucing them about 150. When they get about 150, 152, I'll sauce it and I'll let it set. And then once the sauce is set, that's when I'll pull it. So it probably gets consistently to about 165 before I pull it. So, and then whatever the carryover is off of that. But yeah, I mean, I think going back to Robert Smith is obviously an amazing very accomplished cook, and a lot of the tips he gave, especially for someone who,
I think he was number 1 on my power rankings.
yeah, I think he was too. Probably very justified.
Okay, thank you for saying that. Not everyone agrees.
Not everyone agreed, but
Not everyone agrees.
Yeah, well, you know what they say, opinions are like assholes.
Well, at the time. Anyway, okay, go ahead. Yeah, he's an accomplished cook, does really well in Texas right now. All over, by the way, but Texas is his home, and he does a lot of Texas events. Been doing it for a long, long time and killing it. Shout out to Robert Smith. I thought you were going to say something. Oh, is he frozen? Is he frozen? All right, Brandon. There you go. There you go. You're back. You're back, Brandon.
All right. The second guy would have been Bill Purvis, the man Bill Purvis.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, obviously I took his barbecue champs class and started communicating with him as much as possible, and he's obviously taught me quite a bit. So
can I just say about Bill Purvis, for maybe 5 seasons now into barbecue, this guy's really taken it by storm. He's really dove in head first, studied under a lot of good pit masters, but he's really, created his own brand. One of the big success stories, if you want to follow a success plan or a path, check out Bill Purvis. I mean, the guy, I just remember Bill he came to one of not my events, but an event that I was cooking at, and man, the guy just really dove in. He really took on to the barbecue competition scene. Now you can find Bill's rubs and brines, and he's been on television. He's just all over the place. He's created a really great brand. And not only that, he's just the same guy each and every week, right? He's a nice, humble guy. He's out there. He's sharing knowledge to anybody and everybody that'll walk up to his trailer. I've been in Buc-ee's with Bill all the time. People just recognize him. He's just the same guy in and out. He's just a good dude, and that's somebody that people need to kind of follow their plan. If that's something that you're trying to do, create your own brand, create your, he's really taken the barbecue, and now it's his business, right? It's his life. That's all he does is barbecue right now. Obviously he's got a great program at home, but yeah, that's somebody that I think you should definitely take a look at and look up to.
Well, that's definitely the dream, right? Is to be able to do this every weekend, not have a regular day job.
100%. 100%. Yeah,
that's my dream anyway.
That is not what I do. That's not it is my dream. I don't know if it's my dream, but that's something to look forward to. All right. So we got some people that are coming in to this deal. I got 2 more in the, and Brandon, you're going to hang out with us. Sign me up, Sean Trainer. Agree. Yeah. Let's do this. Sean, I would love to hear from you, man. If you want a link and you got a drink, Daddy Dutch is new in here. Choppa, this guy had a great show with us, probably on a Sunday. He might be drinking. I don't know. Gordo Q, congratulations. He RGC this past weekend, I believe, in Poteet, along with Bill Purvis at the GC. We'll talk about that in the Bull Printing Wraps and Graphics wrap-up recap on Wednesday. Jared McCrory, I saw your comment, and I apologize. You are due, Jared. Look at that. Jared is on my list. I need to get him on. But if you want a link just to hang out on a Sunday Funday, I got links galore. I'm going to be handing out links like they were hot pockets. And I'm going to bring on somebody that I've talked about all the time real quick. We're talking about Brad and Bree from Smokin' Magic at a Missouri. I want to say Kansas City, but they're right outside of Kansas City. What is the town you live in?
It's Green Valley.
Green Valley. I was there.
Grain.
I had a good grain.
Yeah.
Not even green. It's grain. That's so it's beige instead of green. What are you guys doing, man? Did y'all have a pool party today?
Not today. It was a little chilly, but we did some cooking, and we were practicing shooting with our new camera and audio equipment in our in our outdoor space here, our outdoor kitchen that we're working on getting finished. So.
All right. Well, I get because I'm just throwing links out there, and I'm gonna do this guy too as well. Aaron Leslie's in the house. Aaron, you keep working, man. We're just gonna watch you while you're doing it. We'll come back to you, my man.
What's up, guys?
This guy is doing.
Who's that guy?
That is a Texas legend, in my opinion. We'll come back to Aaron in just a minute, but. Brad and Bree, I do want to. I know y'all been on the show, but I we talk about you guys every week. But I want to talk to you about just what is going on lately with Smoking Magic. Are y'all frozen, or is it y'all just being still?
No. Okay, we're moving.
Can
you see us? Hear us?
You're not moving on my screen, but I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
Aaron, are they moving to you, or are they still?
No, man. Her head's been turned for like 45 seconds.
Okay.
I mean, unless there's something really crazy that she's staring at, I know he's a sexy motherfucker, but I mean, if she's really staring at him, she's like really piqued,
Yeah, Bria's staring at Brad right now, and she has been doing this. It's okay. It's a Sunday fun day. We're just trying to figure.
Is it a mad stare?
Brandon, you can unmute real quick, bub. I've talked about Smoking Magic on the show for now a year plus. You've heard me talk about them. What do you know about them, Brandon, just from listening to the show? Anything?
Well, I think I started following them because of the show, because you had them on and they're one of your sponsors. So I started following them, and then I saw them when they went to Australia with Shane and them, and their adventures. So they're a really good team. They got some good products out there. Haven't got to try all their stuff, but I started to build their rugs and good stuff.
Man, I thought I saw Ty Cobb come in here. I thought producer Ty was going to come in here and save me. But again, I want more people to come in. I got 10 spaces. If you want a link, you better grab a drink and come on in here. Sean Trainer, send me a message on Messenger, and I will make sure I get you a link. Whoever wants a link, I will send that to you. This is just a Sunday fun day hangout, nothing planned. Oh, there they go. They're back. They are back, kind of.
Trim me up one of those beautiful meats, Aaron.
Aaron, what are you doing? What are you doing, Aaron?
So, obviously, Midland Meat Company owns a restaurant, and so we have about. I'm going to estimate 30 brisket flats that we're going to cook up tonight, and then tomorrow. So the store has briskets on the case for sale.
Nice. All right, you got any sausage? I know you.
About once a month we'll cook about 30 or 40 flats briskets, and they'll have them on the case.
Well, that's cool. What about your sausage? I know you guys do a bunch of handmade sausage.
Yeah, I do a lot, and I'm fixing to I can't keep up, so I'm up to about 1,000 links a week starting next week. So,
wow,
nice. Nice. All right, Bree and Brad are back, and they are unfrozen.
Yay!
You were frozen, Bree, looking at Brad, like in what Aaron said. I know. Oh man, they look.
Was it a mad look? Because I get those a lot.
No.
She was just calling. She was just checking it out, like she was bird dogging somebody. Like she was.
Y'all could be brothers. I'm looking at this, Brad and Aaron. Y'all could be brothers here.
I've been growing it to look just like him.
Hey, sexy is sexy, dog. I don't care what it is. It doesn't matter, I got a little gray.
Who's the older brother here, though? I don't know.
That'd be Aaron.
Come on now. I mean, dang.
It could be. It could be. What are you guys up to? What's going on a Sunday night in Grain Valley?
Go ahead.
We've been out shooting content out in our new little studio, which you've seen, but
I did see
it now that you can see the hood systems in now.
Oh yeah, it wasn't there
so
when I was
do
there.
All kinds of fun stuff out here. So today I did a poblano stuffed pepper that was wrapped in a thin cut ribeye. Unbelievable. Oh my God, it was so good. So it was cream cheese, crab meat, garlic powder, the normal stuff, little cheese wrapped in ribeye, thin cut ribeye, 1/4 inch thin cut ribeye.
How did you slice that ribeye?
My butcher did it.
But I mean, no, but how? I mean, was it like on
After
a
you cooked
slicer, or you had little strips? I mean, because the ribeye not very big, right? So did he like do like a sandwich meat style, deli style kind of slice?
Yes.
Okay.
So he did a 1/4 inch cut, for like a breakfast cut is what I call it. And I had those left over from a work event, and we decided to thaw them out for this.
Yeah.
And so instead of bacon, I just pre-cooked the poblanos with all the stuff in it a little bit, and then moved them over, wrapped them in the ribeye, put them back on the smoker, and let them finish out to about a medium rare, and they were out of this world, man.
How many strips did you get per poblano? Just curious.
One. I used one whole ribeye per poblano.
And he just wrapped it like around.
I'll send you a picture later.
Yeah, but it's a strip, right? Like 1.5 inches thick or whatever it is. It's a strip. You just twirled it like a piece of bacon.
No, it was like a full steak. It was a full steak that was cut 1/4 inch thick.
Gotcha. So it's like breakfast cut steaks with like 1/4 inch in the whole side. Okay, that's cool.
Yes.
I'm following you now. I was in my mind.
Phenomenal.
Like a slice of bacon, or is it the whole face?
Yeah.
Brad, you can put it on the camera, and I can show it if you want to. But
it's cool.
Bree, what's been going on with you and you guys? You know, I know that you guys won we talk about it all the time, but you guys won that taste of Kansas City, where you got to go into the
right back there.
There it is, right there.
For KC.
The Made for KC. I'm sorry, Made for KC, and you guys have been out of that for probably 3-4 months now.
Can you see the?
Okay, hold on. Let me put you solo, so that.
Oh, nice.
Boom.
Yeah, very nice.
That was our recipe for today that we did, and we shot video footage for it, and then when we finished, that's them cooked when we finished. So
is it still up there? There you go. I'm getting
yeah.
Beautiful. There it is. Oh my! Hold on. Let me do solo layout there. Look at that.
Nice.
Look at that. How'd the content go? Was it good? You happy?
Well, I'm playing around with editing, and so that's what we were doing earlier. I was trying to finish up editing that video and dabbling with that, and it I'm sure took me way longer than somebody that knows what they're doing. But
hey, so as people that are watching this show, we're not professional, photographers or videographers or anything like that. You're trying to do something that we're all trying to do, right? We're trying to create content. We're trying to put it on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok or whatever. So what is this process? How's this working for Smoking Magic? What do you guys, you guys had an idea, obviously, before y'all woke up and did this thing, but, can you talk about the process of start to finish?
Yeah, so we took our Jack winnings back from October. They pay you in like prepaid Visa cards for when you win.
Okay.
We took those and saved those, knowing that we wanted to invest in some good audio equipment and video equipment for shooting content. And we knew we were finishing out this space out here for outdoor cooking. So we purchased those, I don't know, about a month ago. We got our cameras and the mics and the lapel mics and all of the setup and stuff. So we've been playing around with it and just trying to have a little fun, learn the equipment. That's a huge thing. I mean, neither one of us have backgrounds in anything to do with videography, photography, or it's just kind of been teaching ourselves as we go and mimicking what others are doing.
Right.
Like it's eye-catching. So when we came up with an idea yesterday, I shot a video about how to make candied jalapenos because we have jalapenos galore in our garden right now. So I just thought, well, let's try it out, and then we can look at lighting, audio, placement of different things, and see how it goes. So we shot one video yesterday for that, and then Brad's ribeye wrapped stuffed poblanos today, and then took it and put it in CapCut and tried to kind of start playing around with that. Once again, I'm not an expert at it at all, but just trying to learn and play around.
Aaron,
CapCut's good.
It is
Yeah.
good.
Hand cutting
It's
is
a
great.
good tool.
Great
It's
app.
definitely a good tool. Aaron, have you cooked the jack
Yes, 3 times.
3
Bragger.
times?
I was about to say, was that a rhetorical question?
No, honestly, I qualified in 20 and 21, and I went with Gary Robinson when he won the wild card in 22, and I went with him and up there, and I helped them cook it. So, but I've been in 20 and 21. I got 2 goes so far.
That's awesome.
How did you qualify for your first time? You remember your okay? Oh,
Yeah. So actually, my first time to go was I won Ardmore, Oklahoma, and Matt and Sarah Walker had 7'd out, and just like the trickle effect, when they 7'd out, COVID kicked in. But was that March or April, and maybe May, and so there was no more events to finish off the jack season, and I got the auto for Oklahoma.
nice.
That's awesome.
And Brad and Bree have also cooked the jack. It's a great story. I want to hear that one more time. Brad, I want to hear from you. What do you remember with getting that call from Bree?
So it is rare that she calls me in the middle of the day when I'm working. I was actually driving to go pick up my son, and it's like 3 or 3:30 in the afternoon, which is an odd time for her to call. Usually she just texts, and she calls, and I'm well aware that it's jack draw. And I just got on the phone. I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me. You're calling me because we're going to the jack. And she's like, we're going to the jack. And it's barbecue dreams. It's what we thought about from the first day we started cooking is we want to go to the jack, and to get there so soon in our barbecue journey was just amazing. And then being able to go and feel like we represented our area well was even better.
Brandon was inspired, and as we all are, it's this time of year when you get the jack draw, it happens, right? And you get some bungs in there. Some of us had 2, 3, 1, whatever it may be. How many did you guys have? And so was that an auto, or you had 1?
We got the wild card.
You got the wild card. Wow.
Yep.
That's like, obviously some of these, like New Mexico has maybe 1 or 2, Aaron, I don't know. And some other states have 1 or 2, whatever it may be. You guys had 1, and
we had 1 in Kansas City, so in Missouri. So there were a lot of bungs, and some of our friends, Meet Rushmore, got the draw for Missouri.
So Meet Rushmore got the draw for Missouri. So, and then you guys got the wild card, which is everybody else gets put into a big old pile, and there's 1 draw, and y'all guys got it. That's pretty
I didn't
amazing.
even know what it was. People were texting and saying congratulations. I didn't understand. I thought it meant like we were alternates or something. I didn't know. And then they sent me a screenshot describing what the wild card was, and that's when I called Brad, and I was like, "No way!"
So Bree, how long were you guys in the game before y'all got this wonderful opportunity to go to the jack?
Our first cook was April of 2021. So
wow.
We're short timers. We haven't been in very long.
So do you feel like looking back on it, do you realize then did you guys realize what that meant?
Back in 21?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did actually. Well, yes, I had talked to a lot of people, and they all talked about the jack. I knew what the jack was. And I knew that was somewhere I, aspired to be someday, was to get invited to the jack. But we have many friends that have been cooking for 15, 20 years, have multiple grand champions, and have never been pulled for the jack.
A lot of guys been waiting 20 years to go get drawn.
Yeah.
I had
big names out there.
So like
I had 5 1 year, and obviously didn't get drawn. My wife Diane, she was the event rep 2 years ago. Excuse me. Let me put everybody back. Unsolo. There we go. My wife is an event rep, which that's a head judge, right? Or somebody out there, just to make sure everybody understands what that is. 2 years ago, she was an event rep in Lampasas, and the gentleman that won that was Ocala. He got drawn. This year, she was the event rep with Julie and Dustin Stanley, and it was their only GC. So Ocolique had one that year, had only one bung that year. And this year, just Julie and Dustin, Twisted Flames, only had one. And Diane was the event rep for both of those. Did they? They won the wild card?
Yeah, the wild card has been drawn twice out of Texas in 22 and in 24.
Nice. Well, Diane was the event rep for Ocolique, Randall, and this year, Dustin and Julie, she was the event rep. I was like, hey, put some of that luck on us, please, so that we can get drawn. But, yeah, for you guys to be in so early, to be drawn and to go to the Jack, not only did y'all get drawn and go to the Jack, let's talk about the results.
Well, we feel like we represented well. We had a good time. We soaked up everything the Jack had to offer, from Mary Bobo's to the Hill to the tours. We didn't miss a thing when we went down there, because we honestly had to treat this like we would never be back again, because it could quite possibly happen. So we got everything in. When Cook Day happened, the night before, we were in bed by 9 o'clock. We were ready to go the next morning. Got a really cool text message from Jordan Kirkpatrick that
Nice.
just kind of
Janky legs and
Janky.
I don't think he needs any explanation who Jordan Kirkpatrick
Well, I
is.
didn't know not him, but some of the listeners.
But that kind of just pushed us into the day the next day with, good teams show up on big stages, something to that effect. And
He said, do what you do, win big on big stages.
So we went out, we got second place in Chef's Choice. We did the big dino ribs, beef ribs. They were phenomenal. We got a call in ribs, and then we got first place call up for pork, which landed us 7th overall, which was pretty awesome to be number 7.
And you got 7th in ribs too.
That's what I said.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
it was awesome. Hey, what a great showing. Again, you guys were just kind of new into that game, and to get there and to get that opportunity to go to the Jack, which, like Aaron said, a lot of teams, me included, have been in this a little while, and we have not yet got that opportunity in there. Brandon Perriman, you got inspired, right? You got inspired to, this past weekend when the draw was there, and you were like, I want 7.
Yeah.
Difficult to get 7, but what are you thinking? What's your what'd that do to you, man? What kind of fire did that put in your belly?
Well, yeah, I'm naturally competitive, but I just inspired me to push as hard as I can, even harder, than just do as many cooks as possible, hit state championships. I'll take the Aaron Leslie approach and only hit up state championships and see what happens. But just put my best foot forward every time. And
you chase only state championships, you're going to find yourself in a zip code you've never even heard of. So that's what's tough about me doing that from where I live, is that I'm in 4 corners of the state so much that the flavors, it's like you get your ass kicked half the time.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody. This is a random Sunday fun day. Shout out to Bree and Brad from Smoking Magic, Brandon Perriman, always forward, Aaron Leslie, Texas Old Dust, and I got 2 more that just entered the chat. We got Kent from Daddy Dutch Barbecue out of Iowa, right?
Sure,
Iowa.
that son of a bitch. Sure.
And then we got Mr. Sean Trainer from Bottoms Up Smokers right here in the great state of Texas. Sean, you are muted. But Daddy Dutch, please say hello. How you been, my man? What's going on in the great state? Well, I won't say great state, but the state of Iowa.
It's a pretty great state. I mean, it's a balmy 72 degrees here today.
I mean, I'm jealous.
I'm about 4 hours north of Bree and Brad here, so right up I-29. So, hey, Ron, how are you, sir? You work
good, man. I'm good,
brother. You work too much.
I was doing great till you popped up.
That's only because I make you feel short now.
That's it. You're one of the only ones.
Jared McCrory with 11. He said 11 damn likes. Come on. There's 24 watching. At least hit the thumbs up. And if you're not subscribing, Please subscribe. We just hit a milestone, 800. I need 200 more for something to make it happen. So Sean Trainer's in the house as well. Bottoms Up Smokers. Please unmute yourself and introduce yourself, my man. What's up?
Hey guys. Sorry, the kids just blow the desk and the wives. It's the typical thing. You go in another room and everybody's going to come follow you.
Can I just say, what a deep voice.
I've never heard Sean talk.
I know.
First time. Is he got a cold or what? You got COVID?
So, I mean, I've got a face for radio, so that's what they're talking about.
With that voice, you ought to be in radio.
Oh no, pick the wrong job.
He's like that dude on Shilajit commercial on TikTok or whatever. You know that old trucker guy. That
Hey,
voice.
did you get your car refrigerators yet? Make sure you buy them on TikTok shop.
Hey, can I say that Sean and Brandon are new to the barbecue game? In my opinion, right? A year and a half is still kind of new to me.
Sean's one of my barbecue homies. We hang out whenever we cook together.
I love it. Sean, you've been an avid watcher of the So Smoking Gooder Show. Thank you very much. But how you been, man? What's going on a Sunday fun day for you? And what's on tap for Bottoms Up Smokers here coming up?
It's been good, man. So as you know, I mean, when I first met you, we started out taking Phil's class first and foremost, and shout out to LC. I mean, that's why I love giving him so much crap. That dude is living his best life right now, just traveling the world and fishing and getting to spend. And that's what I'm trying to build for my family too. Is the same things that I see they do with Reed and be able to take. And I've seen Rob, I've seen you and Diane do with your kids.
Yep.
And being able to take them and like Josh Hale does with theirs. I want mine to be able to compete and build that up. And I love, so last year we pretty much did, we got sucked into the 6-pack series. And so we did all CBAs. And talk about being a new team and competing against the best of the best. I mean, I mean, we got, the first couple, we got our butts handed to us. Tapper was my very first cook-off. And I've got another.
Just a 100-team contest.
Yeah, just a small deal. And but I've got another huge friend. Like Brandon said, Brandon and I, we cook a lot together, try to hang out. Even though Schulenburg was more fun just hanging out than anything else. All we did is go there to just hang out for a week. And we could have gone camping instead next time, Brandon.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it is what it was. But so I work with Jeremy McMahon from Love Barbecue. He's semi-retired. I know he doesn't come on here a lot, but he's spending more time with the family. But that guy has helped me from day one get to where I'm at today. And that's one thing I love. I've had so many people that we talk about everything. It's like you're not scared of, you still got to be able to comprehend it and put that into action, right? You can sit there and, sell the notes or recipes all the time, but having people that support you and help along the way. And the biggest thing, Rob, you and I talked about, and the motto of the show is just shut up and listen.
Right.
And you get farther doing that. So, but we've had a blast. This summer has just been stupid hot. And I'm trying to get better about, especially when you're not sponsored and you're doing stuff on your own, it's not a cheap thing. And luckily I've been able to get a couple sponsors thus far. And, just that little help and that support, it makes a big difference. And it's something, it's a hobby, right? We do this not because we're, if we get to that caliber, it'd be awesome. But it is expensive, and you got to figure out the best way. So this year we're probably doing a little bit more IBCA, just because it is a little bit cheaper, less meat. Although we'll be at El Campo next weekend, and pretty excited about that. Got some new ideas.
Well, good. I mean, have you noticed a big difference between, you mentioned you were cooking a lot of CBAs last year. this year. I've noticed a shift, and I love the fact, do what everybody wants to do. Do what you do. I've noticed the fact you're shifting a little IBCA, which is, you talk about the differences that you've noticed, if any. They're real similar, right? They're real similar, but the placement in a box is different. Some of the strategies may be a little different. I don't know. You talk to me about that.
Oh
Sean.
yeah. No, we've screwed stuff up. Like going between the two. Like, and I've had to tell Trisha's hiding. She's right behind the camera, but
what's up, Trisha?
Which she is just as much a part. Trust me, those that know that she does. She's more the team. All I do is handle the fire because she'll burn herself. But I mean, it's serious. But I think the big things is number placements and numbers and what you can and can't do. The first IBCA I did earlier this year was Norman G. No, Iola.
Norman G. Uh-oh. Is that me?
Uh-oh. He gone.
Can I? And,
Wait.
And here's like,
back.
no. Yeah, sorry. I love that for a second.
All right.
I asked Jared, I was like, can I do burn-ins? He's like, no. I was like, well, I guess these are going to be for dinner. And, I mean, things like that. I tried at Madisonville, which was probably the third IBCA this year.
Mm-hmm.
I put 9 ribs in the box. Alicia, I get up there. Alicia's like, you got to take one of those out. I mean, it's things like that, just the learning curves.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's cool that you learn something new every weekend, and and just everybody helping each other out. Hey, I'm going to run Brandon's chicken this weekend, so.
No, I am.
I mean, Trisha is. So
okay.
Trisha's fault.
Trisha, wingtip or no wingtip?
Wingtip.
All right, she's
Things out the wingtip.
Sorry, those third place wingtips could be a first place no wingtip. Just saying.
I know.
Just saying. Well, cool. Well, Sean, thank you very much for chiming in. I got a question for the whole group. I mean, Brad and Bree are up in Missouri, Kansas City. Daddy Dutch is in Iowa. What do you guys think of the state of competition barbecue? A lot of people ask that question. I feel like people say it's dying. And I'm gonna hold my comments till the end here. But Kent, we haven't heard from you yet. But what do you think about competition barbecue, man? Is it dying?
I was up in Worthington, Minnesota for a KCBS in July. Numbers were the same as last year. Not the same teams. There's some missing, some new ones there. I'll find out more next month when I go down to Denison. I've noticed the smaller local contests, they are definitely down on numbers. Everything costs a lot more this year. And like Sean, I got one or two small sponsors. I don't have a meat sponsor.
Right.
I'm still lucky enough I did a competition yesterday and one last week. This coming week I'm off, then I got another one. But for all up here, numbers are a bit. I haven't really seen it on the KCBS side. I don't know what Bree and Brad have seen down in Missouri.
Well, let's ask him. What do you think, Brad? Bree, numbers holding steady, dropping, rising? What are you guys seeing up there where you're at?
I actually think it's been lower this year than in previous years. I think that the excitement is kind of like there are still people out there that want to do it and want to compete. I think it's the expense and the cost is what keeps people from doing it. I know we've had multiple conversations with KCBS about shifting maybe the thinking, like how we go about it, how we approach it, different ways to help foster and grow the sport of barbecue so that they don't dwindle and go away. And a lot of times what we're seeing now more often in the last couple of years is people not signing up until last minute. So that's really, really hard on organizers and to find the judges and to have all that. When we first started, teams had their whole season booked out, and sometimes we couldn't get into different comps if we weren't able, because we weren't able to pay for the whole year all at once, or even 6 months. We had to kind of do one at a time and pay as we went. But a lot of times we would miss out because they would be all full because people started in January for the whole year of whatever, or actually in November, starting the whole year for what comps they wanted. Now it seems like some are fearful that the comps won't even make the minimum of 25. And then like a week out, the numbers, like the teams start rolling in to get them there.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest change I think I've seen thus far up in this area.
I feel like proximity. I'm gonna pull y'all down solo. I feel like proximity with contests seems to be a big factor. Especially, I don't know, maybe you guys speak on a little more than I can, but where you guys are, there seems like there's one in Kansas. In Texas, it feels like, Bree, you're from Texas, right? So Texas is a huge state, right? So we all Texas can be 3 hours away, 4 hours away, but I feel like, Kansas and, Missouri, Illinois, whatever it may be, you could travel 3 hours away and you can be in another state, which is just different for us right here. But I don't know. I feel like the proximity of KCBS contests maybe hurts a little bit. Same for Texas, though. They're all in Texas. I feel like there's so many now that are going on in different sanctioning bodies, and so they're all pulling from each other. And I want to highlight what Burley just said. He's a promoter here in Texas, and he said, "Hey, it depends on payouts. Point blank, it's a money for most thing." And I feel like that is a big deal. If you have an opportunity to go to, a $20,000 payout contest to where you're going to something that says it's an 80-20 payout. There's a lot of those here in Texas, right? So a guaranteed payout is definitely going to attract you versus something that may not be. Brandon, what are you looking for when you go to a contest, my man?
Payout's part of it because, like Sean said, it's an expensive sport, and being a solo cook, and I have a so payout's part of it because when you start getting calls and you start relying on getting some calls and getting some of that money back, and I'm not looking to make money off of it. I'm just looking to finance the next cook, So payout's part of it, but also proximity. Texas being a big state, it costs a lot more to travel, so I try to stay closer to home. And I think you're right. The other thing is there's so many contests now in Texas that they're kind of pulling from each other. It's hard to get 40, 50, 80 teams when there's 5 cook-offs on the same weekend in the state,
Sean, what are you looking for, my man?
Hey, kind of the same. So, one, I hate driving. So, if it's within an hour of the house, it's game on.
Regardless of payout, say,
and then probably pay out next.
All right.
Because, you got to get, and that's the one thing, and not to knock on IBCA at all. Their payouts are typically lower than others. And there's more of them, which I'm not, and that's, unfortunately the economics we're in, the cost of, even if you do bare minimum, I don't know how people, you're got to be spending at least $600 per cook-off. Like if you're bare minimum 3 meats, I don't know how. If it's less than that, trust me, teach me because I want to know. And even this weekend for doing CBA. Here we've been doing CBA.
Let's not talk about this weekend, Sean.
But no,
this one in El Campo is going to cost a little bit, right? We're gonna go. It's $500 entry fee for a location. You get a spot in a resort plus your entry fees, but then on top of that, you got to spend fuel. You got to spend meats. You got to do all that, and then entertainment while you're there. It's different. This one is different. It does cost a lot of money. It's just a different kind of contest. But generally, you're right. It's about I don't know, Brad, Bree, you can talk on that. In KCBS world, they're not cheap, right? We're not in most hobbies, regardless of hobbies. Say we're into racing or we're into bicycling. You have all kinds of each hobby has its own challenges or expenses that you have to accommodate to. None of these hobbies are cheap, but I feel like we're in an expensive one for sure, Sean.
And I think that's where you learn. I mean, I'm living on the edge, so we're just switching up everything for this weekend. So I'll just pre-warn that I'm just throwing everything out there. So that's what I was getting to. I haven't had to do money muscles in forever. I text Brandon. The first text went to Brandon, and trying to figure out, because I know where he shops. And next, I'm like going down the line because Chop and Block is probably my next best option right now. And I've used them once before. I used them for Cuero, and that's where I got my ribs that weekend. I got top 10 ribs that weekend. So, that's a huge shout out to them.
Can Aaron shut up? He's working too hard. I'm just saying, this is nice.
Hey, can you take me on? Am I off mute?
I'm just fucking with you, bro.
I'm
just
I am smokers with wood, dog, and I'm all yours, man.
I'm just messing with you, bro. I can mute you. Go ahead. Sorry.
So I called down there. I talked to Sarah, and I got lined up for this weekend. And she said, "Nope, John's going to be out there. We got it taken care of." And it's just that cool customer service. And I mean, we've got some great people in this business that do things. I mean, obviously Aaron's working his butt off for his right now to support his habit.
Yeah, no, for sure. I had a question for Brad and Bree, but I'll come back to it. Kent, what you got, man? Anything you want to add to what we're talking about, man?
You're talking about the Texas comps. You got Lone Star, you got IBCA, you got CPA, and for you can go 2 to 3 hours any direction and hit one of the sanctioning buys on any given weekend.
Right.
Here, I had one in Omaha. I did in January. That was rather cold.
That's a cold one.
Yeah. The winter in Omaha. It was almost 40 degrees, so it was tolerable if you're from the Midwest. You Texas boys, there was actually Houston up there for that one. Other than that, we're a Ford. I have two comps, KCBS comps within 2 hours of the house here. Other than that, it's 4 to 6 hours, minimum drive per comp. And like Brandon and I think Sean was touching on with the economy and stuff, if you want some quality meat, for a KCBS, you add in fuel and everything else, you're talking 1,000, 1,200 a contest without batting an eye.
Yeah,
it's just it is. Like I mentioned, we all picked a very expensive hobby.
Well, I gave up the expensive hobby to get in a less expensive hobby. I gave up racing to get in barbecue.
Oh man.
Why would you do that?
Was it the 100 meter or the 200 meter? What were you racing in?
It's more of a shot put discus.
Hey, Rob, I've decided that I'm going to start preparing to be in the 2028 Olympics. I'm going in for the breakdancing category.
Listen, baby. How ridiculous was that, man? The breakdancing. I was watching that last night. Not last night. Friday. I was working, and we have this, kind of a little wall of televisions on there. But one of the corner of the television was breakdancing, and I was like, Are they really dudes? Are they like battling, like breakdancing? And they were terrible. I remember, being a kid with a cardboard in front of my house. Not me personally. I mean, I did that, but I was not good. But some of the kids in my neighborhood were better than what I just saw on Friday night at the Olympics. I was just like, oh my God. Sean, did you break dance as a kid?
Negative, sir.
What? Did anybody in the panel here break dance as a kid?
I can Aaron on a couple of red Solo cups in the morning and some brown water.
Hey,
Nobody has ever put their head on a cardboard deal and spun around with their legs in the air? No?
Yes,
Really?
yes, I have.
So-
I have. I even had my
So I will-
parachute pants on and my bandana.
All right. Aaron has.
Hey, man,
Aaron.
One of the
So
first
I will
tricks
admit-
learned was in the gym at high school back in the 3rd grade. Was spin on my head.
That's why you want me here, look.
I definitely did that, but I'm a little older than you guys. Breakdancing was in the 80s, and you had to be like 10 to 14 years old in the 80s, early 80s for me, early 80s. That was a big deal. Breakdancing. I know Bree and Brad are a little younger than us.
Hey,
Aaron.
you wasn't doing it right if you didn't have 4 or 5 bandanas. This is before the whole Bloods and Crips and all. You had blues and whites and blacks and reds, and you had your parachute pants on.
I had parachute pants, bro.
And you
I had
had
parachute
your
pants.
bandanas on. You had your black or red Nikes, and they were Velcro. Remember the Velcro Nikes? And you sat there, and then you had your hand on the bottom and on your chest, and you had your butt, and you were sitting there spinning in a circle on that one hand on a rag. Then you had a cardboard. I mean, you were just doing all that. The breakdancing was different back then. When I saw the Olympic stuff, I was like, somebody's having a spasm because I do not remember anything ever like that when I was in the elementary school breakdancing. It was crazy.
Barefoot Cookers is like giving me some shit. I was born in the late 80s. Well, I'm sorry. You missed out on some fucking great times in the USA, my man. Sean Trainer, you agree, right? You 77. You experienced the 80s as a child, man. That was good.
I lived the dream. I was that kid that got a beeper from Greenspoint Mall. Shout out to Greenspoint Mall, so it's getting shut down.
A beeper.
Yeah, but
hey, how cool was it when you got the beeper that had text messages on it? Huh?
Dude, the first thing my buddy texted me, "Hey, kids, earmuffs," was 800-7355.
Was that boobs?
Boobies. Upside down.
Boobies.
Oh my gosh! That's when I got that pager back in like '92, maybe '94. It was the Nextel, right? And the first thing I got, I was like, "This will be cool. I can get a message. I'm out doing my thing, and then I get it. And all of a sudden, I got this huge bill. Like the cell phones were in a bag back then. We hadn't got the cell phone stage yet, but only the rich motherfuckers had cell phones. And so it's like, and you got this deal. It's like this bill, and it's like $175. I said, for what? My pager bill is like $50 a month.
12-volt power source. Back in the day,
I don't know who that is.
That's my kids. So I will tell you, my first phone was Nextel, and I still have the same number from the very first one I ever had.
Holy shit! Really?
You can walkie-talkie from,
dude.
Those were the shit back in the day.
Hey, and they got them back now, right? They have them back now. You can talk in China. I mean,
Brad, I used to hear that fucking sound, that did it in my head. I hated that Nextel. Although, what great technology that was. Could you imagine right now, like if my phone was sitting here and Brad was like, "Boo, what are you doing?" Like, that kind of sucks a little bit, I think. But at the time, it was like next level technology. I had a Primeco phone. You guys remember Primeco phones?
Primeco. That was what became Sprint.
Okay, yeah. See, I'm a little older, so I was there with Primeco with that whole little alien robot thing, man. But yeah, good times. Good to Aaron. Did we talk about your first?
Yeah.
Nope.
So my first one, I was 21, and I got it was about like it's long, right? But it's a flip phone, so it was a hard base with a pull-out antenna, but it flipped out on the bottom. It was a Motorola, and it was a Motorola flip phone, but it's huge, right? And so And I want to say, I don't remember if it was Nextel or AT&T, but they had just come out with it. And I remember getting it because I was like, oh, this is going to be so badass. I'm going to be one of the only guys that has one, right? And I'm going down the road, and I'm calling my cousin. I said, hey, you're not going to believe this, where I'm at. She goes, where are you at? I said, I'm at such and such street. She goes, are you on a payphone? I was like, no, I got me a cell phone, man. They got flip phones out. I'm just walking around, and then they have a pouch for it that hangs on your belt. It's like 10 inches long, you know? I mean, it just kind of sat there, you know? It's like an old man cell phone with his white shoes. But yeah, that cost me a lot of money because I didn't realize that, you know, minutes are add up very fast. And when you can't afford to pay what you're doing already in gas, you got to pay like a $300 phone bill. Yeah, that kind of sucked for about 6 months, but I lived it up, but I just had a hard time paying it.
Damn Yankee Texas Barbecue, Sky Pager here. And he's like, I've been waiting on Facebook for you.
Hey, but
I just vote we just bring him on in and let the good times roll.
I want him in. Let's go, Shane. Shane, let's go. Sing it, Frank. I'll send you a link if you're in. Let's go. Come on. But
very first cell phone
you got to drink for a link. You got to drink for a link. What's up, Chicken Fried Barbecue? Look at that. GC. I talked to Bill today. You know, I talked to Bill last week, and he was like, dude, I got 102-degree fever. I can't talk. I'm sorry. I'll get it. And then this week is like, man, I wasn't sure on Friday if I was going to go to the contest because I was feeling bad. He goes, I decided to go at the last minute, and GC whooped you. So if you were at the same contest in Poteet that Bill was, and he whooped your ass, he was sick, by the way, and couldn't even walk his boxes. Apparently, Sure Shot Laney had to walk him.
He wasn't that sick. I watched him. He wasn't that sick.
Oh, Aaron was there. Sorry, Aaron.
I was right. We were parked in the end, man. I mean, come on. He wasn't. He had a healthy appetite. I'll say that.
So, Aaron, he wasn't that sick, or he was that smart. Which one?
And I think I tell you what, he played a very good game. I mean, however you want to say it. No, he. I tell you, it was. I'll tell you this: the walk to the turn-ins was you had to go about, and I mean, it really, honestly, you had to go about 40 yards down the road. We're on a single like a residential road. They're parked on one side, we parked on the other, and there's two streets everybody's parked on. You went about 30, 40 yards. It hit the gate. You came back, and you went down an incline on these rock steps going where the river is. You walked down there and then back up. So that was a long walk, and so I mean, I didn't want to make it, and so I mean, lady was there. She was able to walk Bill's box, which was awesome, and and it just helped out. But he wasn't feeling himself. He wasn't feeling his game, and it was hot. It was humid. It was kind of whipping up all of us, but it was a long walk to get up there. I'd leave at 55 and I'd get there at 59. So it was a 4-minute walk to get there.
So Bree, you're a Texas native, right? Native?
Yes.
Absolutely. She's been in the North Kansas area, the Kansas City area for how many years now?
I moved up here in 2002. So
2002, 22 years.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you started eating some of that barbecue, when Brad was, when y'all got to meet, I mean, how much Texas pride do you still have left in you to where you're like, this doesn't taste like brisket or?
Well, when I moved up here in 2002, they took me to show me, since this was the barbecue Mecca, they said, the barbecue places, and I was like, what the hell is all this sweet shit you're slathering all over this barbecue? And why is the pork so stinking sweet? Because what I grew up with was salt, pepper, garlic, especially on beef. And then our pork was all like carnitas and more of a Mexican kind of flair. So
right.
And we didn't do sauce unless it was on the side as an option. But so I had to take a judge's class to figure out what in the world the flavor profiles were up here. But I am still very, very true to, and it's probably why our brisket scores aren't as good, because I just can't make it sweet up here. I don't know. I still do our salt, pepper, garlic, base on there. We use our rib rub on there, and I do put some barbecue sauce on it up here. I like it so much better when I just slice it and taste it. Like that's how I want to turn it in. But we'll get crucified if we do that.
Brad, do you have some issues whenever you're like, all right, let's not put that, or you're like, maybe we should. I don't know.
I pretty much let her do her thing. She knows what she's doing, and I don't get in her way.
The salt is the biggest thing we disagree on. So he's
Yes.
very sensitive to salt, and I usually can't get enough. So if he tastes it and says it's salty, and then I taste it, and I'm like, there was only been one time when he said it was salty. I was like, oh my, yeah, that's a little salty. But
I will say we got one of the best brisket cooks in Texas sitting here, right among us, all of us. And I'm talking about Daddy Dutch Barb. No, I'm just kidding. I'm talking about Texas Oil Dust because I only said that because Daddy Dutch is not in Texas. But Aaron Leslie, if you got one bit of advice for brisket, can you share with us?
When you eat it, all you're looking for is a slice of white bread, some pickles, and onions.
Amen.
That's the flavor that I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So if you taste a piece of my brisket, obviously texture is huge.
Right.
The texture and the tenderness is big. It's big for me. My texture and tenderness is definitely different from a lot of folks. But when I eat it, when I taste my brisket, if it doesn't make me just reach out, want a slice of white bread and a couple of rings of onions and some pickles, and then I didn't do my job right. That's what I look for, but I can't say it's what everybody else is looking for. It's just that's what in my mind I visualize that, and I know that I hit my mark.
So if you don't hit that flavor profile, what are you looking to do to change it? In the moment, what are you doing to change that?
It depends on what I'm tasting and what I'm not tasting, and that's because technically by 40, if you have so here we have the 1 hour turn-ins, and so if I've got, by say 2:40, I'm tasting things. I'm like, oh crap, it doesn't have this or it's missing this. Then I start trying to figure out how do I get that au jus to taste a certain way, or how do I get or I taste a slice. I'm like, oh, I'm missing something. What am I missing? I start trying to figure out what the back of my taste buds are hitting. And sometimes you don't have time. You just send it. And when you send it, it works out or it doesn't work out. But most of the time, a good brisket will be very well within the mark. It's just, it may not be the perfect one that you thought you needed to have. So I don't know what that tweak could be. It all depends on what you taste at that day. I have a rule that I have 2 beers before I do brisket.
Nice.
You're well past 2 beers when we do that.
2 beers, yeah, no kidding, bro.
I mean, don't get
that's
wrong,
a limit for us.
Hold on a minute. You gotta understand what I'm saying here. Because when you're in a case of sometimes you don't have the. You're by yourself. You don't have the time to be drinking.
Right.
There's no time in that. I won't have my first drink until after I've turned everything in. But I'm just saying is like, if I'm doing a Texas sanctioned barbecue alphabet soup, I won't drink before chicken because no one's drinking at 11 o'clock in the morning. So when I turn in chicken, I want to have my taste buds on. I want to make sure it's right, but we'll all crack one open by the time it's due for ribs, but I'll have 1 or 2, then 1 or 2. But I'm just saying is I make sure that I've had a couple of beers before I do brisket because most everyone judging it's hot and that's kind of on their mouth. It's on their breath. They've had a few beers. I want to make sure that my profile is right because just a few beers on your breath can change the way you might think the judges are because you may not if you have no alcohol or no water. Bill doesn't drink and he does a great job, but he dips snuff like he got some hog legs in there all the time. So I mean that can be something that alters his taste bud that makes his brisket so good. But if you have nothing in your mouth, you're just drinking water straight, you may not have that one mixture that you're looking for. So I'd like to have a little beer on my breath because that's what the judges are probably drinking anyways, especially in an outdoor environment.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is Bree needs to listen to me more.
Brad,
unless you're hanging out with Reagan, then we already had a couple of shots.
Well, shots and probably something else.
That's behind the scenes. We don't expose everything.
So are you telling me that your Texas Red doesn't happen until after 12 o'clock?
No, I said beer. I didn't say about my Bloody Marys. I just said, those come on at 9 o'clock in the morning.
So, Aaron, we need to get you some of our Bloody Mary mix.
Yes. Lots of it.
100%.
I had a friend that said he's going to get me hooked up, but that never has been ghosted and kind of.
I told him to give us your address and we'd ship you.
Just like you guys, I make my own. It's something I want to get into a whole nother. We're in the restaurant environment, and I want to get into that, and I make my own. But yeah, I would love something. I will say this real quick. When I became part of the barbecue spot 2.5 years ago, I went up there and I tweaked my barbecue sauce with the guys in the kitchen, and I stopped at the Casey Airport, and me and Amy, she gave me a tour of the place. I kind of found out how it worked for you guys and kind of what was going on, because I didn't know if y'all were there like I am here at the restaurant, like 100% of the time that we're working. But it was a cool environment. So, I mean, it was good for an opportunity for you guys to have that. So that I don't know how the airport is running on a staff and how it's moving, but here, for what we're doing, I mean, it's a solid book day. So it was cool to see that, and I was proud of you guys to be able to have that opportunity. Especially going from a competition side to being able to see what the restaurant side looks like. I didn't know if you guys were going to foresee that in the future, or if you were just going to just experience it and move on.
Put your phone sideways, Shane, if you can. Hey, Brad and Bree, real quick.
Shane's on. Show's over.
Hold on. This guy's gonna add.
Here earlier when you were talking about having 2 beers. Those are rookie numbers, Aaron.
No,
that's what I'm talking about, bro.
I didn't say that. I said I always make sure I have a couple beers before I have brisket. I didn't tell you that. Motherfucker, we start drinking early in the morning.
This might be. Let me pull this down so we can see Brandon up in the corner.
Take the show over. I'm just telling
you. Hey, real quick, Shane, have you been with anybody at the? There he is. There's Brandon. Have you been with anybody at the Jack? Have you been to the Jack?
No.
All right. Brad and Bree have been there. Aaron has been there. Aaron, have you got a call at the Jack yet?
Yes.
What were they? What was it?
Let's see. We have 180 dessert. We have 180. Let's see. We tied for third on the open meat. Is it Chef Choice open meat? I can't remember. Yeah. So we've hit that both times. We've had dessert calls both times. We've had the ancillaries. We've definitely walked the ancillaries. I have never gotten a call in the 4 meats yet. I have been 11th, 12th, 15th, but I have not had my top 10 call yet.
All right, Brad and Bree, I know y'all got a ancillary call. Not only that, but talk about y'all's results, please.
Well, I don't want to talk like a legend just spoke before that he hadn't got an ancillary or a 4 meat call, and I feel really bad.
I'm a Texas cook.
We're all here, bro. We're all friends. We're and
feel bad
and it's a Sunday fun day. We don't feel bad. I asked you a question. We all in Aaron will support you guys. We're all supportive of everybody.
I don't know.
Just say you won pork, motherfucker.
I may be sitting on the trophy now. I don't know.
He's sitting on it right now.
Just machine gun those 180s on out there. Let's
go. No, we got a second place cook's choice with our beef ribs, 7th place pork ribs, and then first place in the rib category last year. Or pork category, sorry. And just if you go back and you listen to the video from the awards, you can hear me screaming like a little teenage girl.
What place in pork? Did you say first place? First place, right?
First place in pork, yeah, with 7th overall.
Yeah,
first place in pork, which is outstanding, by the way. Outstanding. Do you remember what placement you had? I'm talking about the box placement. It's, don't share, injections or anything like that. But how did you place it in the box? And what do you think? We do this rate my box, Bree and Brad. You guys know that.
So basically, and I'm gonna tell on myself here a little bit. So I often study social media and I study other people's boxes and different layouts and stuff. And
if you're not doing that,
if
you're not doing that, you're hurting yourself. I feel
right. Well, I was studying boxes and I came across one of Phil Breeden's boxes. And he did money muscles in like an L shape with the chunk right in the middle or inside the L. And yeah, Bree's gonna send it to you if you want her to.
I was like, that's it.
Oh, hold on. You're there. Nice. Okay.
Oh wait, can I be Eddie? That's a fucking 7.
So we landed on that, and we went with it. And really, I remember the pork that day was really good, and we had some good friends of ours with us, and he's been cooking a long time, and he was able to make some adjustments at the end that I probably wouldn't have thought of, as far as just some accent stuff. I don't know that put it over the edge or not, but I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to give him credit that it did. We just had a ball. Like the whole week was just so much fun. I hope we get to do it again. We were hoping he was going to get a call this week so we could go back with him and do it in reverse order and be his little sous chefs. And it didn't happen though.
Sean,
I will say that Jack is very, very hard. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Rob, but when you go the first time you ever go, you're going to miss out on a lot of things because you're so concerned about hitting your marks as far as, getting trimmed up and getting everything like prepped up and ready to go that you'll skip and you'll miss the activities that are happening. So when I got to go back the last time and help somebody, I was able to capitalize and go to the hill. And I was able to go to the parade. I was able to go do this thing while they sat there and did their thing. So when you go the first time you ever go, there's a lot happening. Don't focus so much on trying to prep. Enjoy the moment. Like they said, like it's your last time to ever go. You can stay up all night, but you can also do your stuff early and not mess around and get your things done and not have to worry about it as much.
Well, I totally agree, Aaron. And then the time, you're number one, you're cooking wings, so that was something new for us. And then the second thing was your turn-in times are different. So we had to completely tweak and rework our whole timeline. So that was something we were dealing with too.
Sean, what do you think about the? You can unmute yourself, my man. You got your kid there with you, but are you learning anything, my man?
No, for sure. And I mean, if I feel like I learned something every single time that I watched the show, your show, Robert
I appreciate
Smith,
that. But,
I mean, all the everybody that puts out content, and just like I shared Alonzo Cantu stuff today.
Yeah,
I mean, these guys. There's so many people. It is so readily available now. I mean, one of the first tips I got was subscribe to the Barbecue League, $100 a year. I mean, there's so much stuff. I went back. I've got, just like Brandon, I watched Bill stuff on there. I bought that. I mean, on Barbecue Champs. I mean, there's so many easy things that you can do and step up your game so quick to compete. And I mean, especially as a new cook, there's no better feeling. Like I mean, we've got a couple of first place. We've had a first chicken. We've had a first brisket. Still waiting ribs. I've got it second. So I mean, we got a top 10 rib at Cuero, which was a huge cook-off. So I mean, when you be able to go into some of these big events and do really well, it just boosts that confidence so much that it just makes you want to go out and do it again. What can I do better next weekend?
100%. Shane Leclerc, unmute yourself.
How did I get muted? I didn't even do anything.
No, I did it. I did it. But my man, you've been to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo with Heath Riles. You've been to Australia with Brad and Bree sitting here. Talk about your experience, man. You've been like all over the world. You've been competing with some of the top cooks around the country. And I feel like you're new to the game, right? I don't know. Maybe I just don't know.
I'll say I've had 2 really serious years of chasing, right? Sorry, my wife is watching Love Island and she just closed my doors on my pub because my conversation is interrupting Love Island or something. But
that is great, enthralling TV right there.
I've had 2 serious years of chasing, trying to get after the Invitational at the Royal, trying to get after, my name, on a bung and the jack. And man, I just ain't been lucky enough to get one. But the barbecue world itself is just Man, the last 2 years has been tremendous as far as the doors that's opened for me and the people I've gotten to know and the relationships I've made. I mean, in 2 weeks, I'll be down in Key West at the Bear and Burton, rub and tug. So,
killing me, bro.
Dude, this is just like, I have no end game in this. I'm not trying to make my own rubs. I'm not trying to open up a freaking restaurant. I'm just trying to have the most freaking fun I can. And man, life doesn't suck, But yeah, of course I want that damn GC and I want to bung, I want to try and have a chance to go cook at the Jack and not just be a helper, But I've gotten first place porks. I've got first place chickens, first place briskets, first place ribs. I just can't ever put it all together and get that damn GC monkey off my back. I've been close. I got third at Nexa last year out of 178 teams, and of all things, chicken got me, but it's just been one thing after another. But man, like I said, I'm having a tremendous time meeting people. I'm going back to Australia this year. I don't know if Brad and Bree are going to make it back this year, but we're going back to Sydney. We had so much freaking fun because of them. But yeah, dude. I mean, it's just the barbecue world's amazing. The friends and family that we've made. I mean, it's nuts.
So you have yet to get that GC off the back, right?
No, I got RGC at like a non-sanctioned deal, and I mean, I've won a Weber kettle kind of competition, but I've not won a sanctioned competition as a GC or RGC. So yeah, it's just been very frustrating.
What's the one comp category that you're struggling in?
Man, so last year I was killing it in brisket, and I started giving everybody's like, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And I started helping them, and all of a sudden my brisket just goes in, and now my brisket, I'm middle of the pack. I mean, I've been trying to lean on Aaron, to give me some help, and he's pushing me, and I'm getting better, and I'm getting up there. Robert Smith's been trying to help me a little bit. Donald Keene's been trying to help me, and it's like I'm not shifting, I'm not making big major changes. I'm trying to tweak little things. But I keep just finishing middle of the pack in brisket. I'm not dead ass last or nothing, but
you're right.
I'm not that top 5 brisket, and that's been hurting me. So yeah.
What's your best category right now?
I ain't gonna lie. I mean, a couple people on here can probably verify. I mean, but more often than not, if we're gonna get a call, it's probably chicken. I don't know why. Chicken just makes sense to us.
Good.
Yeah.
You need to have one or two that make sense to you, and then you tweak the other.
Chicken and ribs. We just seem to. Last year I was way off in ribs. I just lost tenderness, but now, I've gotten the tenderness dialed in. But yeah, chicken and ribs, pork, hit or miss, middle of the pack. Brisket, middle of the pack, everything.
That's because Shane's getting rid of that barn house chicken coop he's got and getting a wreck tech.
Yeah. So no, I don't cook my chicken on that. I cook it on my damn game.
I know.
Daddy Dutch, when you're struggling in a couple categories, what's one thing you kind of back down to or go back to settle yourself back in? You're muted.
You did that, Robert.
I did it. I'm muting everybody until they speak.
I revert back to basics and then tweak from there.
So something that has worked out for you earlier in your competition career, and you go back to that.
I'll go back to it and tweak up from there. For the last one, pork category, I got dinged, and I actually got comments that for up here, and Bree and Brad can probably relate to this. It was too savory. It wasn't sweet enough up here.
All right.
Are you kidding me? So, and then, the other thing, what I do up here for the upper Midwest, and I'm sure Bree and Brad can weigh in on this, the hotter it is, the saltier I make it. I mean, you got to up here. You could have, like cooking yesterday, it was 72, 73 degrees up here. The week before, it was 102. Well, last week I had a hell of a lot more salt than I did this week.
100% agree with that. Everything.
I think that's everywhere. The hotter it is, the saltier you go. The sweeter it is, the sweeter you go.
I agree with you 100%, Aaron.
All right, hey, real quick, I'm gonna switch everything around before we get out of here. An hour and a half on a Sunday fun day. I didn't expect to be this long. I appreciate you guys coming on, but I just watched the documentary. Nothing to do with barbecue, but I'm going to ask everybody because I know Sean's a baseball fan. I know Shane's a baseball fan. Brad, I feel, is a baseball fan. Aaron, I don't think he is so much, but
Do you not remember? I went down to Houston with a tomball, not tomball, Hempstead, like 2 years ago, and I said, "Why is everybody wearing the Astros shit?"
Yeah.
Hat,
That's why I said I don't
it
know
was the
if
World
Aaron
Series. I had no idea.
Perriman, I feel, is a baseball fan. Dutch, you a baseball fan?
Go Cubs, go.
All right, go Cubs. Let's go. All right, so I'll watch the documentary. This is going to be an interesting conversation here, Bree. Are you a baseball fan, Bree? Are you an Astros fan or a Royals fan?
I'm not really a baseball fan, but I've
Brad's
growing
looking
up,
at her like
the Texas Rangers with my grandpa. Like,
oh my god!
I think that
she is
year-round
definitely
all the time.
not a baseball fan.
So that was, but I don't.
She is.
We've been to Royals games, but I'm not a huge.
Brad's a fan. Look at him.
Brad used to play. Well, he did like softball leagues and stuff like that. But
so he's a baseball fan. I feel like everybody's on except for Aaron. But Aaron has heard about this name. I watched the documentary. We're just gonna again, not barbecue related at all. And I'm gonna talk about this guy. Do we feel we're talking about the Baseball Hall of Fame? Okay. We're going to talk about Pete Rose.
Give him a thumbs up.
Oh, gee.
Aaron, you don't even know. You're just.
Okay.
I know you know the name.
Now, hold on a minute. Up until I was about 14 years old, the Mets was my team because I was a Darryl Strawberry fan, man. I watched that sucker play every Sunday.
All right.
Every week. But
all right.
That's when all that Pete Rose stuff was going on. Man, hats off to him. Get him in there because he's overdue.
So Pete Rose is the hit king. He's got 4,256 hits ever. He's the ultimate hitter. So if you're a pitcher, the ultimate deal. Is that Aaron? I'm sorry. Oh, Aaron, I got to mute you.
So I want to go and speak up now for the fact that nobody expected Aaron to be a baseball fan, and he's got that stuff out. He is. Good job, Aaron.
Yeah. So if Pete Rose, real quick, 4,256. He is the hit king. If you're a pitcher, the ultimate deal you could be is the strikeout king. If you're a hitter, the ultimate thing you can be is the hit king. And I feel like if you're a baseball player, the ultimate record in baseball is the hit record. Pete Rose owns that. Pete Rose bet on baseball. Not apparently, once you become a baseball player, it is known you definitely are not allowed to bet on baseball. That is a no-no. That is 100% no-no. You're definitely not allowed to bet on your own team. As a manager, Pete Rose was a player manager in the 80s. He played and he managed and he bet on his own team, never to lose, according to him, always to win. It's been 37 years. I just watched the documentary. 37 years since he was banned from baseball. Do we think Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame? I'll go around the horn. Aaron Leslie, you're up first. Give me your reason why, and give me a little background on why.
Well, first off, like I said, when I was watching Darryl Strawberry and the Mets and my grandparents, you were watching the floor, and all that stuff with Pete Rose was going on. I didn't really know what gambling and getting against yourself and everything, but the man earned his stripes. He paid his dues. He did his thing, and he put up with 37 years of crap from the social media to the news to everybody else. So, he was playing. If you're doing it every day, every week, every month, every year, you deserve the honor that you're given. It doesn't matter what you might have done in between. What it matters is that you earned it, you did it. Give the man his glory.
Rob, you're muted.
You were muted, but I think you're asking me. So
Brandon Perriman, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Aaron. Yeah, I know that's a cardinal sin over there in baseball world, but still, I mean, the guy was one of the best to ever do it. That he's not in the Hall of Fame because of. Look at baseball now; they're embracing gambling like all sports because of the money. It seems pretty hypocritical now that they're still banning Pete Rose for gambling when they're making millions or billions of dollars on gambling nowadays. So I think you should get in.
All right, there's 2 for Pete Rose. I'm going to mute Brandon. I'm going to go Kent, Daddy Dutch Barbecue.
You know, I got to agree with everything Aaron and Brandon just said. And by the way, Pete Rose is the only player with the ultimate nickname of Charlie Hustle.
Mm-hmm.
And only the also player to dislocate the opposing catcher's shoulder in an all-star game trying to score a run. Put the boy in.
So I watched that. Did anybody see that documentary? No. So they Charlie Hustle. There's 2 variations of this. Pete Rose scored. So Pete Rose's account is he scored from third base. He was sitting on third base, and there was a pop-up right behind second base, and the second baseman was backpedaling, and he caught it while backpedaling, and Pete Rose ran from third base to score.
Tagged up from third.
Yeah, he tagged up from third and scored, and it was against the Yankees, and they said, look at this fucking Charlie Hustle. He scored on us and this and that. So, but the other account is the same Yankees team. It was where there was a home run hit, and he was playing left field, and Pete Rose scaled the wall while this ball was like 30 feet over the wall, like uncatchable, just being kind of, you know, those guys that do too much. He was doing too much, right? And so they said, look at this Charlie Hustle guy trying to catch a ball, like as a joke. And so anyway, there's 2 accounts of that. Pete Rose is obviously taking the better of those 2, and that's why I became Charlie Hustle. But anyway, all right, Kent. So you agree as well?
Yeah, but you got to look at this. He was the one. I mean, it's called the Pete Rose slide for a reason. He was the first one to slide head first instead of feet first because he was running so fast and trying so hard.
I don't know if he's the first one, but I got it. I got you. All right, Brad, you're up, my man.
So everything, Pete, and the respect I have for him is he wasn't a God-given talent.
Yes.
He worked for everything he got. And that kind of resonates back into like what all of us we do. We work on our craft and we perfect it. We practice it. And it's the same thing Pete Rose did. What he did back in the 80s, like, I don't really think that was a big deal. Like, he bet to win. He's a legend. Even though he's not a Royal, you know, he's not George Brett or any of those really good players. But, you know, he's a good player, and I think he should be definitely inducted for sure.
All right, so he cheated a little bit.
No, I don't think he cheated.
He bet and he wasn't supposed to.
I don't think that's cheating. Just playing the odds.
Playing the odds. Sean Trainer, unmute yourself.
So I totally agree that one, he should be in, and if it's not completely defined, was it defined at that time? I mean, the same stuff's going on right now.
Yes, it was defined. You cannot bet.
So I mean,
baseball.
Then I mean, even if it's defined, okay, if you ain't cheating, you ain't winning. Step one. And I mean, we still see that even today, the stuff that goes on baseball. I mean, I've been a diehard Astros fan since probably 2015. Had season tickets for years, and love, Yankees.
Shane's. That's why I kept Shane last. That's why I kept Shane last. Let's go.
I know. I love Shane. I got cooked next to him in Humble. And so, I mean, it's, it's the rivalry. And I mean, it's every year, it's going to be the same two teams. I mean, when it comes down to it, it's the best two teams that there are in our league. But I think he should be in it. It's, time. I mean, gosh, we don't hold people long enough in prison for what Pete Rose has happened to him.
37 years.
Literally, it's a literally frisk and release world right now. I mean, we're literally, you got to have pounds of stuff before you get in trouble out on the streets. So he cheated, he gambled. You know what? I'd bet on him today.
All right, let's go. Shane LeClaire.
Man, we do Calcuttas all the time. What is the difference?
Unmute yourself, Shane. I'll unmute him. Hold on. Let me unmute him. I got you. You're unmuted. Let's go. Let's go.
Have to do all that. Man, first of all, if you ain't cheating, you ain't winning. I mean, that sounds like a Houston Astro fan. So I knew he was going to say he was an Astros fan.
It's supposed to be you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But he said if you ain't cheating, you ain't winning.
Unless you're a Yankee. I mean, yeah, we don't need to cheat to win.
Fuck you guys. You guys cheat all the time. All right, let's go. Come on.
No worries. So I'm going to tell you, I mean, being a baseball player, most of my life, I played college baseball and, had a couple injuries that kept me from going any higher. But, man, I'm also a derelict gambler. So, I mean, I can't envision a baseball player that loved the game ever bet against himself or his team, especially as a player or a coach. No matter how much you thought the douchebag, the pitcher was the douchebag that was pitching for you that night on your team, you would never bet against yourself. Yeah, is it right? No, it ain't right. But, man, the dude's status in the baseball history is just iconic. I mean, he is Charlie Hustle, 4,000 hits. I mean, he's an icon of the sport. And like a lot of ourselves in the 70s and 80s, wanted to be just like him. We hustled a little bit harder because we saw him hustle and this and that. And, and betting back then wasn't as easy as it is nowadays. I mean,
you had to work for to go to place a bet, bro.
Shohei Ohtani didn't freaking know his translator was freaking, doing all that. So come on, whatever, bullshit, but man, yeah, let the man in. I mean, okay. I mean, most of the people nowadays don't even know, I mean, yeah, if they sit there and say, okay, yeah, Pete Rose bet on a game, they look at it as today's standards as to how easy it is to bet on something. It's freaking easy, but back then, it was not easy to place a bet. You had to go to a social club and be, jacked by the freaking mob to even get a line of credit, so, but man, I say let the guy in. He is an icon of baseball and go Yankees.
Well, I respect what you said, Shane, because you are a former minor league baseball player. I feel 100% Pete Rose should be in. Now, is he an asshole? Probably. Is he pompous? Absolutely. And I want to, I tie all of that in.
They're doing lines of cocaine in between innings and getting hammered in the dugout, during the game. Mickey Mantle's son is one of my neighbors, David Mantle. You'd be surprised at the stories I heard about Mickey being hammered like during a game.
100%. They all, they were drunkards and all this stuff, and they were womanizers and all this stuff. But we talked about, Pete Rose. Pete Rose didn't drink. That's a fact. He did not drink, but he was an asshole on the baseball world circuit because he would get a walk and he would drop his bat and fucking sprint to first base. Yeah. And that was like, what is this fucking tool doing? Like sprinting to first base after a walk. We talk about, that's what I wanted to bring this back. I only mentioned all of this to bring this back to, hey, there are a lot of guys out there that try really hard to do what we do as far as barbecue is concerned. And to me, it's a trait that I respect, and people may not respect, that people may be like, trying too hard. That guy's trying too hard. But I think people that do the effort to try that hard, to do that, they're the guys that are being successful out there. And Aaron, I think you have a question here, right? I got you. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's what I want to say about Pete. As a young kid growing up, you said Pete scaled the wall and caught this huge catch, right?
He didn't catch it. He was way short, 30 foot short of it.
Well, I didn't
and
know.
they made fun of him for doing that.
So when I sat there in my grandparents' living room every Sunday, we watched the Mets play. They loved the Mets. I watched Darryl Strawberry. He was 6'6" or 7. I mean, he was a tall guy. And I watched him jump halfway up the wall, put his cleat in the back of the wall, and go up the wall and catch a ball that was going as a home run. And when I saw that, I thought, man, this guy went above and beyond to make that catch. And it was replay history for a long time. And like you just said, as a barbecue guy, we do this. We bet the wild child. Why do we bet the wild child? Because we don't know if we're going to make 11th place or one out of the money. We don't have that clue, but it's a shot that if we don't get it, we still have an opportunity to make that payday. Or a Calcutta. We still bet the Calcutta, right? We're betting on ourselves. All Pete Rose did was bet on himself. He just because their team was doing good. And so, therefore, why not capitalize on doing good, just like we do in the barbecue world? We capitalize on doing good by playing the Calcutta, making sure we put that extra bet out there to make that money. Barbecue guys are the biggest gamblers in the world. We gamble every weekend, $800 a weekend. I mean, we do this every weekend, trying to make what? Our money back, trying to break even. That's a win. So sometimes on a $50 check. And so I think that we do the same thing, and Pete did the same exact thing that we do. He bet on a winning product.
Yes. 100%. Hey, I want to thank everybody. We're just we're coming up on 2 hours, and I want to just thank you. This was a random Sunday deal. Maybe we'll do it again. I think this was very successful for our first time out here. We had almost 35 people watching at one point, only on the YouTubes. But Brandon Perriman, thank you very much. Kent, Daddy Dutch Barbecue, thank you very much. Bree and Brad from Smoking Magic, thank you very much. Sean Trainer, I know he's gone. We'll get him in just a minute. But Shane Leclerc from Damn Yankees. He says, "Sing it, Frank," every time the Yankees win.
Yes, sir.
Not a fan. And Aaron, thank you guys very much. It was a Sunday show on random. Maybe we'll do it again at some time or another. But thank you guys very much. If you guys want to hang out after backstage, we can just sit here in a minute. But I think it's time to wrap this up. And if anybody wants to join us later, come on. But that's it. So thank you guys very much. We're going to end this over here. But if you guys want to hang out just for a minute offline, we can do that. But thank you guys very much. And we'll come back to you guys. We'll be back this Wednesday at 8:00 Central. We're going to have Mr. Johnny Dunn and Mr. Joey Smith from the Texas Chrome Heroes Foundation, right ahead of the big Texas Chrome Heroes Foundation, big cook-off at El Campo. I'll be there, but we'll have Johnny Dunn.
Real quick,
What's that?
I'll be cooking with Texas Chrome Heroes this weekend, so they invited me to cook with them. So
awesome.
Nice. Well, thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that. I'll be there as well. I'll be at the El Campo cook-off on Friday. We'll do that cook-off, and I appreciate you guys. So we're going to end this stream. Let me see if Ty's not here, but let me see what I can do real quick.
Thanks for having us, Rob.
Cheers, y'all.
Bree and Brad, thank you very much. I love you guys. Daddy Dutch, Kent, I love you, man.
We're going to hang out to make fun of Shane.
But we'll hang out. If you want to hang out backstage, we'll do it here real quick. But here we go.
Good night to all of you wonderful people in Barbecue Nation, YouTube, California.